Is this new superhero series breaking the mold, or is it more of the same? Hey Twisted people, it's your Twisted Woman here, Chauncey K. Robinson, and today I am doing a spoiler-free overview review of the new adult animated series, Invincible. Invincible is an adult animated series based on the Skybound Image comic about a teenager whose father is the most powerful superhero on the planet. I can say that I feel like Invincible has a lot of great moments in it, but in other moments it feels a bit imbalanced. First and foremost, it is solid animation. Kind of gave me Batman Beyond vibes when it came to the style. Very, very straightforward. If you watched any DC animated movie of that nature, then it's very similar in terms of the look of it. So nothing super drastic or super anime looking or anything like that. Just very straightforward. Now, when it comes to the superhero genre in the multimedia world that we live in, whether it's the comic books, whether it's a series, an animated series, a cinematic feature-length movie, live action or animated, is that there are two heavy hitters, right, that we know about, DC and Marvel. Those are kind of the main ones, because even if you don't read comics or know anything about comic books, you probably have heard or watched a DC or Marvel movie. And because of that, a lot of the time, I feel like if someone's going to take on the straight up superhero genre, in comics, in animated features, or however they want to do it, then you run the risk of needing to make yourself stand out, right? Because if you don't, then you are going to open yourself up to comparison. There's just going to be an obvious comparison if you don't do a drastic kind of, this is totally not this kind of series that you are used to and whatnot and so forth. And I feel like that's what Invincible kind of has to do in a way, in the sense of, standing out, right? So then the question is, from my analysis of a film and TV critic, is does Invincible achieve that? And I think in some regards it does. It makes itself stand out from the mainstream that we are used to and bombarded with when it comes to the media. And in some regards, it doesn't. This show is violent. When it comes to the actual battles, when it comes to the injuries, when it comes to the violence that happens, you see it. Even in animated form, it is very much there. There will be blood when it comes to that. And in that sense, yes, it does make itself stand out, especially for Marvel, right? Which tends to be a little bit more PG-13. This is adult. This is rated R. Now, with that said, it doesn't necessarily bombard you with violence the whole time to the point where it becomes almost a parody or just violence to be violence, but it is there. So in that sense, it does give you more of a realistic look of what happens when superhero beings are in battles and the toll that it can take on humans, on a city, and the surrounding world. Then again, we as a society, have become somewhat desensitized to violence, where to a certain degree, yes, it can make something stand out, but we see it in so many forms when it comes to media that you need a little bit more to go off on. And I feel this is where Invincible struggles a little bit. Many of the characters and their powers will definitely remind you of characters and powers you have seen in other properties, usually bigger properties. That's a given, especially if you are not new to this subgenre of entertainment, of superheroes, right? So for those of you who are well versed when it comes to comic books and things like that, you may be like, okay, that guy's supposed to be this guy that I know, right? That guy might be like Superman. This guy might be Batman. And in a way, you want to believe that maybe it's done purposefully. And in other times, I'm like, no, I think this show takes itself a little too serious to be like, superhero parody shows that we've seen before. It's not like that. And this is the thing. DC and Marvel do not have the corner market on powers. No, they do not. They did not get to, they might have tried copywriting people being able to fly in the air and things like that. Of course not, right? So that's not to say someone else can't do it. But if you're going to to do it, if you're going to open yourself up to that kind of comparison, then you best to come correct, right? You need to know that you're going to be compared. And the question then is, if you're going to be somewhat similar to characters other people may be more familiar with, what makes your character better? What makes it so that I should be watching your character instead of just going over here and watching a character that seems similar to that one? I will say that the adult characters in this series very much stand out. They are different when it comes to personality. They are interesting. They are not just there to be the adult characters, because Invincible tends to focus on the younger characters in the show first and foremost. And that is, I would say, maybe perhaps my biggest drawback when it comes to this series, because I found the adult characters and what was going on with the bigger mystery of the series so far to be way more interesting than any interpersonal coming of age, seen it before drama that the main character, Mark, was going through. The overall mystery, the overall unfolding world and storyline that takes hold in this series really does get you interested to find out what is going on. So that's fine. I really do enjoy that. The issue is when we have to take a break from that and go over to the younger adult characters who, like I said, just aren't as interesting to me in the way that they are written. The action is good. Like I said, there is a lot of violence in this. And if you are down with comic book violence and cool fight scenes, then you will love this series. And also kudos to the show and Amazon Studios. And of course, Skybound and Image Comics, who originally started this comic book series that this show is based off of, that has been out since I believe like 2003, for having an Asian character be the central focus, an Asian superhero character at that, because there's not as many as there probably should be in mainstream discourse of superheroes. I will say that if you love the superhero genre, then you will probably feel compelled to check this out. But I will also say be prepared for feeling like you've seen a lot of this before. My final grade for Invincible is a B-. Let me know some of your favorite superheroes that are not in the mega juggernauts of DC and Marvel. Let me know, comment down below, and also be sure to subscribe so that you are the first to know when I post my videos. Thanks for watching.